let's get into the cuts the Giants have made so far because definitely have made some cuts, and there's a lot more to come, guys. But this is the start of it here, which started literally right after the game on Thursday. So from Friday onward, here's what we got. And to be honest, guys, spoiler alert: nobody's really a shocker except for maybe one or two. I know they're not complete shockers, but somewhat shockers. Wide receiver Jordan Bly. Again, we didn't think he'd make the roster from the get go. I'm not shocked there at all. Wide receiver Zach Pascal in a numbers game didn't set himself out and separate himself from everybody else there on the roster. So not shocked by that at all. His best position, really, let's be honest, is as a special teamer and not as a guy that returns. He doesn't return just on the special teams in general. Not going to work. Um, Wide receiver Montrell Washington. That was the one that kind of shocked me the most. Not that he didn't make it. I thought he would after the first game or so because he was really kind of starting to set himself apart, but he started to go downhill. Um, but Montrell Washington just became inconsistent towards the end and just barely didn't, make that tier, so to speak, where you can go, maybe he makes the roster. What kind of shocked me just on him was that they cut him so soon. Usually the guys you cut in quickly are not guys you plan on bringing back to your practice squad. Those are usually guys you're cutting them early as a courtesy, try to give them a chance to lash onto the team. So I'm a little shocked they didn't try to keep him to maybe pop him onto a practice squad because I do think he was borderline making this roster. One or two more catches in the preseason, one or two more practices looking a little more impressive. He probably would have made it. So I'm a little shocked by that. But it is what it is. They just for some reason don't want to keep him around basically. So they did the right thing. They cut him loose early. Offensive lineman Jaison Williams. Again, no shock there. Center Jimmy Morrissey, another guy who didn't we don't expect was going to make the roster. He also didn't make the roster the last couple of years. So I mean, again, he's been on the practice squad guy. That's what he is. Um, Inside linebacker Dyontae Johnson. Now, some people might be a little shocked by that. He looked really good in the preseason last year, guys, but he looked really bad that in this preseason. I thought, definitely a lot of issues with the way he played overall. Uh, so yeah, he's going to be gone. His big thing was supposed to be stopping the run and getting run all over. So he's gone. Again, probably not going to see him on the practice squad. When you see guys cut this early, we don't typically tend to want to keep them. I think at this point we've seen enough of Dyontae Johnson. We know what he is, and maybe that injury just got him. That's a big injury he had last year. Uh, Inside linebacker KJ Cloyd, another guy I'm not shocked about at all. Cornerback O'Donnell Fortune. Uh, I say slightly shocked. Listen, the Giants like this kid a lot. They gave him a lot of money as an undrafted rookie free agent. The kid looked really good in the Shrine Bowl. He stepped up in big moments there. He looked horrible in preseason. I cannot stress that enough how bad he looked in preseason. I think the problem you run into that though is that I still think he's better off as a safety. I still think he needs to go ahead and move over to the safety position. He's a zone specialist. It's very difficult in defenses. It's very difficult in our defense specifically. So again, they cut him early, so that means they do not typically keep those guys and put them on the practice squad. So my hope for this kid is he goes to somebody who will use him right, will move him to a zone specific scheme. He cannot play man. Cannot play man. And hopefully someone tells him put 10 pounds on and become a safety. Because I still think that's where he's better suited. Um, Speaking of safety K'Von Wallace, which I'm a little shocked by that one there. We signed him on late. We worked with Shane Belton, obviously. Shane Bowen over at Tennessee. So I thought when they signed him, they were like, "Ooh, there's our safety that we need," because they need a backup safety. You know, Interesting. The Page is still on the roster, so that's a guy that keep an eye out for. Might have taken his spot. But I thought Wallace they'd want like a veteran safety that can pop in to start if need be. He's done that in the past before, but looks like he is not in the plans. One last move they did make as well is they put to the IR cornerback TJ Moore, who of course broke his fibula in the final preseason game there. kind of a nasty break there too if you watch the replay at all. So he's out for the year. Let's be honest. I don't think he was going to make the roster. So I don't think that changes anything plan wise for the Giants. But he is out for the year technically, so it'll give him a chance to go ahead and pop in later on. Let's get to some of your more comments, and then we're going to go ahead and pay the bills here real quick here. Let's see here. And this is nowhere near the same category of QB. Exactly. Jason, I bet Joe Shane sends an intern to the locker room to cut these guys. LOL. I would hope not. Who knows? I mean, listen, I've said before, I'm not so sure. I think that Shane is probably the nicest guy in the world. But who knows? I'd hope he wouldn't do that. Anthony says, I was shocked that Washington got cut that quickly. Yeah, like I said, I thought they'd want to keep him on the practice squad. Deb says, this brutal player on Sirius XM NFL channel said guys were in line in the cafeteria and got pulled out to get cut. Yeah, that happens all the time. I mean, they're still practicing. They practiced today on Monday here. There's literally guys in there that point blank were on the practice field today that are not going to make it tomorrow. The Giants aren't going to make it tomorrow. Like they got to cut it like 25, 26 people or something like that. So yeah, I mean, listen, there's no easy way to do it. For those of y'all have ever had to fire somebody, which is basically kind of what you're doing, it ain't easy. I've had to do it. I don't like doing it. And you never know how someone's going to react. Will they take the high road? Will they take the low road? You kind of prefer they take the low road, even though it's kind of weird. It's kind of an awkward position to be in, but at least you feel better. I mean, you feel better. You got rid of okay, this person was kind of a schmuck, so I did made the right move. Jay says, Drew, do you expect Terry McLaurin to play a lot of snaps against us? He should, right? I don't see why he wouldn't. Unless he's got an issue of not being in shape or something. I mean, it's the same playbook as last year. It's the same quarterback as last year. It's the same team he's played on forever. Should be no issues. That's like, it's kind of the similar situation with Neighbors. Do you expect Neighbors to play a lot against them? He hasn't been in the preseason. He hasn't been practicing a lot. Wide receiver is one of those spots. If you know the playbook, you'll be fine. Jason's no medium Pepsis for you. It's okay. I prefer Coke. I really don't. I prefer Mountain Dew. Solve the race problem. Do you think Hyatt should make the team? Should? No. Will? Yes. So I gotta answer that way because you're wording, but yeah. Jay says, I don't think Hyatt or Neal is an NFL player. What says Drew? Agreed. I've been saying that about Neal I'm sorry, but Hyatt forever. He's a one-trick pony that can't go all press. He just can't make, run good NFL routes. But, we'll have to see what happens with them. I was hoping because there's so much hype that something was going to happen and fix it. But it looks like it was just Giants media just trying to do their thing. Self-race problem. LOL. Just shame. Anthony says, Hyatt should be flipping burgers. Yes, him and Neal can start a burger place together. That'd be nice. Jason, I hear Joe Shame is disliked and fake. I've heard the same thing before as well. Solve the race problem said I might have missed it, but which tight ends would you keep? So originally on our show, we talked about it in the offensive breakdown. We said we thought we'd keep Theo Johnson, Chris Manhertz, and we said Thomas Fidone with Dulcich trying to sneak him out of the practice squad. I think Fidone and Dulcich might have flip-flopped a little bit. I think at this point there, but I think Bellinger's probably gone. I don't think it makes sense to keep, him on there along with the guys you have, but we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out. Anthony says, I've had a few dudes I enjoyed firing Drew. Yeah, well, sometimes they really deserve it. You don't feel bad at all. But Jay says, yeah, but firing a kid from a comic book shop and NFL player is two different things, Drew. I don't work at a comic book stop. Like, I don't know why you keep thinking I work there. That's like as bad as Rob there. You think I sell vacuums to Rob too, maybe, or something? Like, I told you, I don't give my job out because I don't want to mix those two worlds. But I work in management and auto repair and have for quite some time now at this point. So yeah, like I said, sometimes you just gotta let someone go. It's life. So
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.